At the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas, I'm Clint Watson, and this is ZNS.
This is the Bahamas Tonight. The Northern Edition has a look at stories making news tonight. The battle of the blaze continues for one community in Grand Bahama. PLP chairman shares why he is confident the PLP will return as government during the next election. And more clarity into the policy that governs the police housing.
The Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition starts now.
Good evening and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. I'm Ramiko Knowles. Thanks so much for tuning in. Topping the news tonight, a brush fire is currently raging on East Midshipman Road in Grand Bahama, with firefighters and emergency teams battling the blaze that threatens homes and properties. The thick smoke is forcing many residents to temporarily relocate. Tonight, Press Liaison Officer Stephen Roll provides the latest update on the ongoing fight. Thick billows of smoke filled the air on Monday, blanketing portions of Midshipman Road and East Sunrise Highway, reducing visibility to near zero and creating hazardous conditions for residents and motorists alike. As ZNS News team navigated the area, we witnessed concerned residents armed with garden hoses, desperately trying to protect their properties from the encroaching flames. Others stood helplessly by, anxiously hoping the fire wouldn't reach their homes. Firefighters battled tirelessly for over 12 hours to contain the massive blaze. The island's fire department, with assistance from various partners, worked relentlessly to bring the situation under control. 24 hours later, Police Press Liaison Officer Superintendent Stephen Roll providing an update on firefighting efforts and ongoing containment measures.
The fire department is still out and about fighting this fire along with its partners in the Midshipman and Chesapeake area. The fire is still burning very lightly. However, the smoke is still intense. We're still urging the public, if you don't need to go to that area, please refrain or use a detour route to get around. Please adhere to the speed limit. On areas that are not visible, please use your headlights to be able to see exactly the way through that smoke.
While brush fires are not uncommon in Grand Bahama, residents say this is the worst they've ever seen.
Next year, we don't want this again. We don't want this to no person.
So what is everyone doing at this moment?
Right now, trying to, wreck their houses, wreck their surroundings. That's what we're doing. Praying, of course.
Oh, wait, this is the worst it's been, We had, this is the third time, but this has been the worst,
Superintendent Roll assures the public that fire officials will continue to closely monitor the area to prevent further flare-ups.
We're asking the residents to please be patient with the officers. They are up and about. They have been assisted by our partners, and we will ensure that we do our endeavor best to avoid any structural damage or even loss of life. So we're asking the public, whoever have any other apparatus that can assist, to please reach out to the fire department. All hands on deck is necessary at this time, and we have worked together to get this matter resolved as quick as possible.
Well, that raging inferno Monday left a significant number of Grand Bahama Power Company customers without electricity. A company official gave Cleopatra Murphy an update on those efforts.
Small pockets of fire, burnt bushes, and thick clouds of smoke still lingered in the air hours after a massive fire in the Midshipman Road area threatened homes in the surrounding communities Monday, leaving crews from the Grand Bahama Power Company working late into the night.
We would have been out up until 11 p.m. yesterday. We had several outages. We were able to get most of the residents back in. However, there were a number of residents we had to leave out due to the wildfires and them being kind of isolated from the main trunk. So It was pretty intense, and it was late into the wee hours.
Grand Bahama Power Company Director of Customer Operations Jared Moss says teams were out again early Tuesday morning, just after sunrise in the Midshipman and East Sunrise community, addressing isolated power outages and replacing damaged infrastructure while monitoring lingering conditions. With a number of brush fires in recent weeks, Moss says the company has been executing safety measures.
For us, prevention is always number one, so we are doing some veg management as well as inspections. Then, in those instances where we're unable to kind of mitigate those risks, but we try to obviously respond as quickly as possible to prevent any further damages, to obviously from a customer standpoint and from an infrastructural standpoint.
With the blaze now contained, concern is now on the dangers posed by the down poles and power lines, so Moss is urging caution.
Please be vigilant and exercise caution. And in the event that you do come across any kind of down lines or poles that are potentially on fire, please give us a call on 351-8411. And at that point, please exercise extreme caution, avoid those obstacles until our teams are there to make those repairs.
It's too early to say just how much replacing damaged infrastructure will cost the company, but Moss says assessments will be conducted. In the meantime, individuals who encounter downed lines or other related dangers are urged to call 352-8411. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Cleopatra Murphy.
In other news, the chairman of the Progressive Liberal Party, the Honorable Fred Mitchell, was a guest on Clint Watson's The Rundown on Monday evening. Several hot-button issues addressed, including the state of Grand Bahama and the 2026 election season. Jolanda Thompson-Everest gives us an overview.
Grand Bahama was the focus of the rundown with Clint Watson as PLP chairman weighed in on the state of the island, from the sale of the Grand Lucayan Resort, the Grand Bahama International Airport, and the upcoming general election. Mitchell defended why he believes the PLP will return to office.
My argument is the consistency, standing up for the Bahamian community there. I think West Grand Bahama is an example of the way that investments play out to the benefit of people, and we certainly will be defending Ginger Moxie's seat with all the moxie that we've got, and we're going to target the lead of the opposition seat to make sure that he's uncomfortable as possible during the campaign coming up. So if he keeps his job, it'll only be by the grace of God.
Allegations of corruption within the party was also addressed, but Mitchell contends that the sources is none other than the opposition party, the Free National Movement.
They trot it out, but it doesn't work because they lost the election after trotting that out in 2021. They're trying to find scandal again where there is no scandal. And they try always to employ the language of American reports about what is supposedly going on in the Bahamas. As far as we know, these cases have nothing to do with institutional corruption.
Mitchell went on to discuss the government's agenda to address the cost of living. He explained that policies imposing high cost on U.S. goods contribute to inflation as the Bahamas imports much of its goods from the U.S.
People ought to know that the inflation we have is not inflation by our own making. It's inflation which is derived from another source. And so the Bahamas government is doing what it can to manage that. You'll soon hear the extent of alternative markets and trying to find cheaper goods. But remember that our main trading partner is engaged in a trade war itself with others.
But here's the million-dollar question. Could there be an early election looming?
Mandate runs out the 10th of October 2026. There's no reason, I can tell, to have any general election. There's no crisis. There's nothing which suggests otherwise. So you serve out your term.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Jolanda Thompson-Everest.
Switching gears now, the policy governing the Royal Bahamas Police Force housing accommodations, dated and signed by then Commissioner of Police Anthony Ferguson on November 6, 2018, clearly outlined the length of stay for officers, conditions for occupancy, and rules for transfer. In this report, the director of the Police Staff Association provides further insight into the policy and its implications for officers residing in the police housing subdivisions. An issue has emerged regarding Royal Bahamas Police Force officers residing in police housing subdivisions on Grand Bahama. Recently, officers were issued notices to transition to private accommodations, sparking concern amongst some members of the opposition. The Minister of National Security, in a press statement, clarified that several officers had violated policy agreements concerning the length of stay, among other infractions. The Director of Police Staff Association, Corporal Ariba Saunders, outlining the specific policy on the allotted stay for officers in the housing program.
Policy states that we have 5 years before we become domicile. In forced terms, domicile means that you have been working and residing on an island for more than 5 years.
According to Saunders, the officers in question have now reached the maximum period allowed under the policy.
Who isn't exactly on year 5 has been there past 5 years.
Officials maintain that officers were given ample notice and multiple options in accordance with the guidelines. Saunders further explained what happens once an officer exceeds the designated time frame.
They either get transferred or they become responsible for their own living. If they read the policy, then they are aware of it. But when they house you, they inform you of these things as well.
When asked if there should be outrage over the eviction notices, Saunders reiterated the importance of adhering to established policy.
According to policy, what administration is doing is not wrong. We govern by the policy.
In news from the crime beat, police on Bimini are searching for Nelson Denza Mitchell Jr. in connection with stealing by reason of service. The 38-year-old is a resident of Alistown, Bimini, stands 5 feet 9 inches tall, heavy built, weighs 370 pounds, brown eyes and dark brown complexion. If you spot him, please dial police at 911, the National Crime Prevention Office at 302-8430, or Crime Stoppers at 352-1919 or 350-3106 or 9. Residents in the Family Islands can dial 242-300-8476.
And still to come.
The Salvation Army celebrating 40 years of service and dedication to the people of Grand Bahama. That story, sports, and more when the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, returns.
Imagine a world where every brand knows your name and every store awaits your arrival. Elite shopping, travel where luxury is a lifestyle and every journey feels like home. Dine where every flavor is just for you, every table reserved, and every moment a taste of perfection. Make every big moment even bigger. Experience banking where wealth isn't just managed, it's maximized. Step into a world without limits. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
Come on down and see what Dolly Madison has in store for you. Renovate and rejuvenate at Dolly Madison.
Celebration Key presents the Lifeguard Swim Test in Freeport. Join the action at the YMCA on March 27th at 9 a.m. Walk-in registrations are welcome. Scan the code to register today and take the first step toward becoming a lifeguard. The night before, a gripping stage production by S.L. Shepard live at the Regency Theater, March 27th to the 29th at 8 p.m. with a special matinee on March 30th at 5 p.m. Tickets are $30, available at Imagine Graphics, the 17th shop at De Gregory's Fine Foods.
It's the second annual Turks and Caicos Come Go With Me Musical and Jazz Festival, June 5th through 9th. Book your hotel now at Ports of Call Resort, Turks and Caicos. Daily breakfast included. Short distance from the event. Email now. Reservations at portsofcallresort.com using discount code CONCERT15.
Your number one team in the North. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
Welcome back. The Salvation Army celebrating 40 years of service and dedication to the people of Grand Bahama. A special anniversary service was held at the Freeport Bible Church, where the divisional commander of the Bahamas Turks and Caicos Division, Major Rudolph Mio, was the keynote speaker. Also in attendance was the Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxie, along with family and friends who applaud Major Henrik and Eugene Sumter for their restoration efforts on Grand Bahama.
For 4 decades, the Salvation Army has been a beacon of hope, providing clothing, shelter, restoration, and most importantly, love to the people of Grand Bahama. The organization's humanitarian efforts stand as a testament to Major Henrik and Eugenia Sumter, who were deployed here in 2019. Fast forward to tonight, and the organization is celebrating 40 years with a special ceremony at Freeport Bible Church. It was an emotional service as many supporters and patrons gathered front row to share fond memories and express appreciation for the work the Salvation Army has done, while the Sumters, who have been managing the Grand Bahama Center, will be leaving and deploying to another island. A few residents took tonight's service as an opportunity to thank them for a job well done. Leading with remarks was the Minister for Grand Bahama.
For 4 decades, the Salvation Army has been a steadfast partner dedicated to service and meeting the basic needs of residents throughout Grand Bahama Island.
President of the Christian Council, Reverend Kenneth Lewis, and Advisory Board member DeCarlo Sweeting joined in to thank the Majors for their sacrifices.
We salute you, Brother Hendrik and Sister Eugenia, for being motivated by love. You continue to give hope to our people through the power of the gospel.
Your tireless efforts in providing food, shelter, clothing, and hope to countless individuals and families have made an immeasurable impact on the lives of many.
Divisional Commander of the Bahamas and Turks and Caicos, Major Rudolph Mayer, was the keynote speaker who spoke about the Salvation Army being a unique organization.
The uniform we wear is a witness of our saving grace in Christ Jesus to the general public. Our message is calling others to holiness of God.
Though their new location has not been announced, these two patrons speak about how greatly the Sumters will be missed.
As you know, every term, whether it's 3 or 4 years, they are deployed into different territories, and their time and their tenures comes to an end now here in Freeport, Grand Bahama.
I think through the pandemic, they were there, Hurricane Dorian. They assist a lot of the residents with grocery packages. They assist them in their light vouchers. And with them leaving, I hope it don't put a void.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Jolanda Thompson, Everest.
Thanks, Yolanda. In other news, spreading the gospel in schools is the main goal of Grand Bahama International Missions, a group of Christ seekers from the U.S. who bring around 250 people to the island every year to spread the gospel. This time around, they headed down west to the Bartlett Hill Primary School to share their love for God.
We've done light construction, we do Vacation Bible School, Backyard Bible Club, just basically coming to partner along with the schools and the churches in the Bahamas and show the love of Christ to the Bahamian people. They're just coming into getting to know the children better here. This is a new team with us, and they want to come with the children and just show the love of Christ to them. To develop a relationship and just get to know the kids that are here.
Our goal today is just to let them know that God created them intentionally with a purpose and that He loves them and wants to have a relationship with them.
The senior mistress for the primary school says that both staff and students are excited to partake in this initiative, adding that it has always been great when people spread the gospel to the school-age kids.
We always welcome them here, and the children are always excited about it. It is so refreshing when we can have persons that would come over and speak about the Lord Jesus Christ, and they're always excited. And you know, the Bahamas is known for that, and we definitely appreciate what they're doing in the community.
Well, switching gears now, the Neighborhood Watch Council is welcoming new members into the fold to continue serving our communities, making them a better place. The graduating class of 33 members will be working closely with the Royal Bahamas Police Force officers throughout the island of Grand Bahama to not only be aware of crime, but to assist in the fight to prevent it. Sentiments repeated by the National Coordinator, Dr. Indira Adderley.
We are partners in the safety of this country. And as neighborhood watch persons, you are the eyes and ears that will communicate with us. You're going to help Assistant Commissioner Dames and his team. You're going to give him the support that he needs, insights that he may not have, intelligence that can help him. And we welcome that. And we want to continue to foster that. So this evening, we welcome you here to this graduation. And we want you to take everything that you learned and impart it with your neighbors who couldn't make it, and to make your community a better place to live.
In attendance, the Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxie, extending congratulating words to the graduates, noting it takes a collective effort to ensure safer communities.
We often hear the phrase, "It takes a village." Tonight, the village is represented by all of us, and Grand Bahama will be a better place to work, live, and vacation because of your efforts in forging stronger bonds. We all know that the safety of our community is not just the responsibility of law enforcement, but rather it is a shared responsibility that requires all of us to be informed, engaged, and proactive. Neighborhood watch groups are a bit more than just keeping an eye out for the suspicious activity. It encompasses fostering and building relationships and trust.
Well, one of the schools with a leading performance during the Junior Jalcanoe Parade was Sister Mary Patricia Russell Panthers, who put on a show-stopping performance for all in attendance. The school took spectators on a journey with a blast from the past, celebrating the 70s, 80s, and 90s. The school captured the win in the junior high category with an overall score of 504 points, securing victories in Best Banner, Best Dance, and Best Execution of Theme. Jack Haywood Jr. places second with an overall score of 461 points, with the theme taking us back to the island. And finally, in news tonight, at just a few months old, in his mother's womb, Giovanni Hepburn encountered a health crisis that delayed the development of his left hand. Despite this challenge, Giovanni is now 18 years old and works as a production assistant at ZNS Northern Service, making remarkable progress despite what some may deem as a disability. Tonight, he views his journey as an inspiring one and wants others to know that people with disabilities can still make a significant impact in the world.
At just 18, Giovanni is already making waves at ZNS Northern Service, his talent speaking volumes as he builds a name for himself. But his journey hasn't been without its knots, literally. Even before birth, life threw him a twist as his umbilical cord wrapped around his hands, stunting the growth of one. Yet while one hand did not reach full term, his ambition has never fallen short.
I was laying on my side on the arm. So at that time, because they didn't have the machine to detect it, they couldn't catch it in time, but I was laying on my arm, and they couldn't see that the cord was wrapped around my arm.
Giovanni says growing up, he has always been a charismatic person with a great sense of humor. But despite clothed with a positive spirit and attitude, some people saw his condition and was somehow feared for their life.
A lot of people ask me, what happened to your arm? A lot of grown-ups. I would just tell them the situation with me, but I've had a lot of younger kids who's younger than me, who's with their parents kind of afraid.
Giovanni says that those who may undermine his capabilities have only pushed him to show them how bigger God is in his life. With the strength of his determination by using his right arm the most, he achieved the title of deputy head boy at his high school. After graduation, he secured a job at ZNS Northern Service, where he continues to hone his skills at the corporation. He has been achieving his goals as an audio engineer through his company, GH Productions, where he continues to show the public what he is capable of.
I would just tell them the situation with me, but I've had a lot of younger kids who's younger than me, who's with their parents kind of afraid to see me because of my arm.
Besides the father above, he credits his mother as his biggest source of strength.
My mother, she has never treated me like I have any disability, but she's always treated me equal and fair. She's always treated me like I have both arms, which I do have both arms.
I spoke with a few of Giovanni's co-workers at ZNS Northern Service who shared their thoughts on his growth and perseverance within the company.
Seeing him edit, you wouldn't think that he only has one arm. The things he does, the vision he has, it's one of a kind.
He's one of the more charismatic characters we have around at ZNS.
About 2 years ago, as an intern at ZNS, and immediately I gravitated towards him just because he was always polite, mannerly, spoke well, and seemed like he was happy to be a part of the ZNS family.
I don't think his disability is a distraction to him because he's eager to do what everybody does.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Jolanda Thompson, Everest.
And if you don't do your work, Gio would be the first one to write you up, right? And that's a look at stories making news. Jay, what's happening in
And
sports?
I'm so happy for Gio. What an amazing story. We need to get him with a basketball court. That's what we
I think so.
Coming up in sports, under 17 basketball championship at St. George's Gymnasium.
That's coming your way next, but first to check on the local weather forecast.
Tonight's weather forecast is brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
Cause it's so beautiful.
See news in the making? Call us at 352-9713 or 359-5167, or you can email us at zns3news@gmail.com.
Calling all local musicians. Celebration Key is holding auditions on March 27th. Showcase your talent and bring the rhythm of the Bahamas to the world. Register today and be part of the magic.
You guys, Mommy has to get a few spins in, okay?
But Mommy, I'm hungry.
Just 5 spins, you guys. Just 5 spins, okay, guys? Just need 5 spins.
We better do our homework. It's gonna be a while.
Problem gaming affects more than just the gamer. This message has been brought to you by the Gaming Board for the Bahamas, which encourages you to game responsibly.
Good evening, ladies and gents. I'm Jay Philippe, and welcome to Sports Top in Sports, the Grand Bahama Secondary School Athletic Association Under 17 Boys Basketball Championship Series underway yesterday between the Tabernacle Falcons and the Sunland Stingers. The Falcons got off to a fast start in the first half and never looked back, taking this one 39-31, led by sharpshooter Travis T.K. Kelly.
The Honorable Mario Boleg, Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, will put on the best of the best. He'll partner with the Grand Bahama Primary School Association and the Grand Bahama Secondary School Association, the Government Secondary School Athletic Association of New Providence, on March 26th through the 29th at the St. George's Gymnasium and the 8 Mile Rock High School Gymnasium. So we'll take some of the games in 8 Mile Rock. The best of the best will take place. It's a great time because it gives us an opportunity to invite some college coaches in, some high school coaches in, invite them in, see what they want to, see if some of these kids can get off the island, become the next Buddy Hale, DeAndre Ayton, Kai Jones, VJ Edgecombe. That's what it's got to be about, giving the young Bahamians that opportunity. That's what the minister's vision is, making opportunities for young people in the Bahamas.
Sticking with hoops on the college side, the NCAA Men's and Women's March Madness Tournament will take center stage this week all across the U.S. Freshman phenom VJ Edgecombe and his Baylor Bears, seeded 9th in the East Regional, will take on Mississippi State on Friday, March 21st at 9:15 a.m. And Coach Joe and our Ole Miss Lady Rebels, with the 5th seed in the Spokane Regional, will face 12th-seeded Ball State also on Friday, March 21st. That game is scheduled to start at 6 p.m. And finally, in sports scores in Week 6 of Little League Baseball and 8U action, the Red Sox dominated the Lions 13-3. In 12U play, the Tigers shut out FES Royals 9-0, and the Yankees got the win 9-2 over the Dodgers in 16U play. And again, congratulations to the Tabernacle Falcons under 17 boys winning the championship this afternoon. They are this year's champion. Ladies and gents, that's your quick check on sports. Your Facebook friend of the day is next. I'm Jay Philippe. As always, be blessed.
It's
the second annual Turks and Caicos. Come go with me. Musical and Jazz Festival, June 5th through 9th. Book your airline tickets now with BritishAirways.com, BahamasAir.com, or InterCaribbean.com.
Do you want to find relief from common health concerns such as headaches, back pain, chronic inflammation, and more? How about improved sleep, boost energy, and improve overall well-being? Check out RA Balance Bahamas and get your body into balance with biomagnetic therapy. For all our social links, contacts, or to request an appointment, visit rabalancebahamas.com.
Your number one team in the North. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
And that concludes the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. I'm Ramiko Knowles. Here's a live look at the Bahamas Tonight coming your way next.
NS News is brought to you by the new BTC. Fiber is here. Faster, stronger, more reliable. Together, we are unstoppable. Switch today.
Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, an assurance from America's top diplomat here amid daunting claims of Cuban labor exploitation. Hear why the U.S. charge d'affaires believes there's no need to fear. Also, a win is a win. After more than a year of fighting, a clear way forward for the Valley Boys. Find out what's next. And watch the road when creativity, culture, and change collide for a purpose. Tune in for the details of a new road safety initiative that seeks to turn tragedy into triumph. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, starts now. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the broadcast. America's top official in the Bahamas is tonight chiming in on the multi-nation uproar triggered by a threat from the United States to allegedly ban foreign officials involved in human trafficking and other human and labor rights violations. The issue, putting the Cuban medical mission program in this country under the microscope. Here's Corvell Pyfrom.
We are neighbors, friends, the closest of counterparts. Our relationship continues.
U.S. charge d'affaires Kimberly furnished Tuesday on the impact this Cuban medical program fiasco is having on relations between the Bahamas and the United States, asserting none.
Had this discussion with, top leadership here, with the Prime Minister, the Deputy Prime Minister. We've talked about it at length. We're not targeting any individual Minister of State here. There's no concerns there. It's just simply a discussion. We're talking about how these Cuban medicals are treated, how medical professionals are treated, how they're paid. We want to make sure that their human rights are being met, right? And this is really more about the Cuban government and not the Bahamian government.
Prime Minister Philip Davis addressing the issue as well Monday, advising that the government was aware that a portion of salaries paid to Cuban medical professionals is sent to an agency in Cuba. However, Mr. Davis was unsure whether that portion eventually ends up with the Cuban government. The Trump administration is threatening to cancel the visas of all foreign government officials and their immediate family, who the U.S. deems complicit in the Cuban labor export program. The U.S. charges that the program aids in human rights violations, specifically human trafficking. But Prime Minister Davis has countered that the Bahamas nor its Caribbean counterparts would ever knowingly permit human trafficking. It's a position the top U.S. diplomat seems to back.
Bahamas is not targeted by this. This went to every embassy in the world. The Cuban medical program is something that we're concerned about. There have been some human rights issues within that program. We're not aware of any that are happening in the Bahamas. It's simply the beginning of the opening of a discussion.
Meanwhile, Mr. Davis says the government has begun reviewing its agreements with Cuba to ensure compliance with international human rights standards. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Corvell Pyfrom.
While the Bahamas government has been credited with establishing effective anti-corruption laws, the U.S. State Department has found that laws to combat corruption by public officials have been inconsistently applied. Its most recent International Narcotics Control Strategy report further notes that the government has stalled full implementation of anti-corruption legislation that would accelerate efforts to enhance transparency and accountability. It reasons then that the Bahamas would benefit from a more robust enforcement of rules, and this to prevent conflicts of interest regarding public procurement activities. The report cites allegations that government contracts have been directed to political supporters, isolated reports of officials accepting so-called small-scale bribes of convenience, and favorable treatment given to wealthy or politically connected individuals. Foreign Affairs Minister, the Honourable Fred Mitchell, spoke to the whole issue of claims of the Davis administration being corrupt when he appeared as a guest on the ZNS show, The Rundown.
What you know is that every time there's an allegation of corruption against the Progressive Liberal Party, it's thoroughly investigated and dealt with one way or the other. And so there's nothing that says that the Progressive Liberal Party, or that can prove that the Progressive Liberal Party is a corrupt organization. In fact, it is the nation-building organization. It is the political party that builds the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Well, a country at war, its people at peril. Years after the assassination of its president, Jovenel Moïse, Haiti continues to be overrun by gangs, reportedly displacing over 1 million people. And this despite the intervention of a Kenyan-led security force strongly backed by the Bahamas. Defense Force officers are counted among the troops there. Still, Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Davis, acknowledges that the situation on the ground in Haiti remains a challenge.
Kenyan police officers are doing their best to bring peace and stability into it, and we are supporting them in that effort. And there's been no new news coming out of there other than the fight continues.
Fritz Jean was recently appointed the new head of Haiti's Transitional Presidential Council, and this as the island sets its eye on long-awaited elections later this year. And speaking of elections, as political parties dust off their machinery in preparation for the 2026 poll day, officials of the governing Progressive Liberal Party have been busy preparing troops to secure a second victory. Altaviz Munnings tells us what the PLP's national chairman says this entails.
The Progressive Liberal Party's national chairman's political formula is clear.
It's very easy to be in government and forget the fundamentals, which is that you need to be in contact with people, because this is a people business. We have small constituencies, so there's no reason why you can't be in touch with electors at least once during the term.
And according to the Honorable Frederick Mitchell, every member of the PLP's parliamentary team has been given a marching order to go into their respective constituency and hold a branch meeting. The goal is to ensure the governing party's message spreads nationwide. Now, when it comes to the PLP's 2026 candidate list,
we don't have candidates as such. We have members of parliament who sit in seats. All of them, as far as I'm aware, have been given their marching orders to keep the troops together, and all of them are doing that insofar as I can tell.
The PLP national chairman strongly believes in continuity. This explains why he's capitalizing on the government's accomplishments this term in hopes of securing a second.
If we have consistently the 2 terms, I think the country will appreciate the stability, the consistency, the peace, the less violence that will ensue as a result of consistent policies. And that's really why we're arguing for the second term, not for aggrandizement, but for the best interest of the country. And where people feel that there's a default, please know that you have members of parliament and senators who are accessible to you, and please make sure you access them. And if there's a default, we've got a party central office. Get in touch with us, and we will try and rectify whatever those situations are.
When asked if the Progressive Liberal Party is eyeing an early election, Chairman Mitchell candidly said no, adding that the scheduled date for the next general elections is October 2026. Reporting for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Altaviz Munnings.
Well, in other news this evening, a breakthrough in the Valley Boys' continued standoff as the Trevor Davis-led faction secures a victory. Lloyd Allen has all the details in this next report.
After more than a year of wrangling in court and out of court, the Valley Boys apparently finding a way forward following a ruling in court. Helping to divulge exactly what that means is Deputy Chair Jeff Munker. Jeff, tell us what happened.
Okay, as you know, we've been at this for more than a year now. The court this morning gave a ruling that said that we were the owners of the Valley Boys name. What that means for us is the group now can move ahead for this upcoming season. It's been really, really rough over the past year. Of course, this affected sponsorship and everything else. The group, you know, I must say, I must really give kudos to all the group members. They held strong through all this.
Now, coming out of that press conference that your group just had, again, we know that you have elections coming up on the 29th. You also intend to make application to the JCNP for registration before April 1st. Tell us why that's so important.
Well, firstly, we promised when we started on this journey that we would have fair and free elections. We ratified our constitution, I think, about a month ago. Come March 29th, all positions are open for free and fair elections. So coming out of that, we should have a new executive team and be ready to take on Bay Street. As it relates to the JCNP, as you know, last year there was a lot of back and forth with the JCNP. We anticipate that this year things will go smoothly. Our plans is to do whatever it takes to get to be able to compete as an A category group on Bay Street come Boxing Day in New Year's.
And finally, of course, we know that your group represents over 800 members. Again, to those on the other side, the other faction, if there's one thing that you can say to them, what would that be?
Well, this is one Valley Boys. Our goal throughout the whole year was unity. We've attempted on a number of occasions to bring the group together. Now I think this is a perfect opportunity to invite all on board. So let's come back together and participate as the Valley Boys.
Again, it's all about unity. Reporting here from Breezes Hotel for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Lloyd Allen.
Oh, great job there, Lloyd. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. There's more news in a moment.
Imagine a world where every brand knows your name and every store awaits your arrival. Elite shopping, travel where luxury is a lifestyle and every journey feels like home. Dine where every flavor is just for you, every table reserved, and every moment a taste of perfection. Make every big moment even bigger. Experience banking where wealth isn't just managed, it's maximized. Step into a world without limits. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
This one? No. Hey, look, KFC has an incredible promo.
I already had that for lunch.
Crunch your hunger cravings and satisfy the whole family with KFC bucket meals starting at just $20. Get freshly prepared golden fried chicken, buttery biscuits, and add your favorite large sides. Bucket meals starting at just $20. KFC, finger licking good.
Whether you're crossing borders or navigating busy airports, with VTC's reliable data roaming, you're always in touch. In a fast-paced world, staying connected is key. Don't miss important moments. Stay connected effortlessly with VTC, wherever your journey takes you.
Did you know the National Insurance Act provides for an insured pregnant woman to access her maternity benefit before or after delivering her baby? Expecting mothers are entitled to 13 weeks of maternity leave, which can be applied for by completing the Med2 claim for maternity benefit form. Section A is completed by a registered physician or certified midwife. The medical practitioner certifies the expected or actual confinement period, signs the form, and affixes their official stamp. Forms completed by medical practitioners outside of the Bahamas must be accompanied by the physician's business card. In sections B and C, the claimant provides personal and employment details, declares their last day at work, signs and dates the form. The Med 2 form is always accompanied by Form Med 4 or Employer Certificate, which is completed by the employer. Both the Med 2 and accompanying Med 4 forms must be submitted within 3 months from the first day of confinement. Forms submitted outside of this period are considered late and will be subject to review by the Late Claims Committee. Before submitting forms, check that all fields are accurately completed. Incomplete forms or forms with incorrect information will delay the processing of your benefit application. For more information, visit the NIB website at nib-bahamas.com.
Portion of the news is brought to you by Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, where safety is first.
You're looking at a shot of Nassau Harbor with, of course, a few boats in the distance. Welcome back. The Minister of State for Housing and Urban Renewal adopting a pretty unconventional approach when she addressed the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women, in the process sparking the attention of countries around the world. Felicity Darville tells us all about it in her final report from CSW 69 in New York.
The Bahamas once again emerged as a leader on an international platform when Minister the Honorable Lisa Ramming wowed attendees with her take on the advancements needed for women and girls. They were amazed to learn that within days, our country will launch the Rent-to-Own program.
It is the persons who think that they don't matter to us, that they really do matter, and that this government, the Davis administration, is looking out for them. Persons who cannot easily qualify with the traditional banks, they have the opportunity to have their own home by renting towards owning that home. And so they're so excited. So all of the red tape, all of the huge qualifications that a traditional bank would require of you, that's not expected of them. So we say, come one, come all.
While those attending this UN conference were intrigued by this government housing concept, she struck a deep chord when she called on the UN not to forget the women in prison.
What about the women in prison? Incarcerated women. Do you remember them? Do we include them in the definition of women? Do these women really matter? Have they lost their right to be treated fairly while incarcerated? These women need economic opportunities after leaving prison. Are they worth being fit into the present and future role and attention of the CSW? Let me say, it should not be left to defense attorneys to fight for them. It should not be left for activist groups or human rights groups to just fight for them. They need you, CSW.
Minister Ramming shared how she catered to the women at the Bahamas Department of Corrections on International Women's Day, a touching moment where she learned how they felt forgotten and they're seeking to be able to work on parole like their male counterparts. Women from around the world came to meet her, and they've committed to looking at the women in prison in their own countries. But there are serious threats that must be overcome for meaningful progress, and the Bahamas is no exception. One of the biggest threats to all of the work that is being done for women and girls here at the UN is gun violence. From the UN headquarters in New York City for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Felicity Darville.
Well, the Bahamas Trade Commission given a mandate to lower the cost of living for Bahamians, but the high inflation rate isn't helping the situation. Since the Bahamas has made the top 20 list of highest cost countries in the world for the past 20 years, Bahamas Trade Commission Chairman Senator the Honorable Barry Griffin has embarked on a national trade diversification program to enable Bahamian entrepreneurs to solicit products from other global markets.
We're working with a Bahamian company that's bringing products from Africa. Wow. We're working with companies that are bringing products from the Caribbean. So we're looking into Jamaica, Trinidad for snack food products, for sauces and seasonings that Bahamians love and are used to, all as an alternative to the U.S. market. As Minister Mitchell would have said, the U.S. is our strongest and most dominant trading partner, and that's not going to change anytime soon. However, to ease the burden of the cost of living on Bahamians and also to protect our supply chain and national security, it's important to diversify so that when there are fluctuations and disruptions in the market, we already have great relationships with other sources where we can get products.
The Trade Commission's also engaged the services of Bahamian-owned supply chain specialist Russell & Russell. Its CEO, Liliano Russell, explains a procurement app that will help businesses shop globally.
With our experience purchasing in alternative markets outside of America, there's a communication barrier, right? That's one challenge. Of course. A lot of Bahamians are receptive to purchasing outside of America into different regions, right? But the question is, okay, if I go to Brazil or if I go to Colombia or Costa Rica, the prices are good. But the next question is, how do I get the products out?
Well, passionate chants of change is here, and Ms. Simonet, coming from BAIC workers, frustrated with what they call the inefficient leadership of a trade union they say left them to fend for themselves. Daniel Dean has more on the story.
The workers of the Bahamas Agricultural Industrial Corporation disgruntled and begging for change. And one Mistress Latanya Simonet vows she's the one that will bring it.
What was brought to my attention is it lacked leadership, it lacked vision. It's divided, it segregates its members. Members aren't able to receive benefits. Members aren't able to be a part of their negotiation process. Members aren't able to receive benefits that unions ought to fight for. And they basically don't have a president that stands up for them. They have a president that selects who they stand up for. And that is not what union is about.
These are issues President of the Bahamas Public Sector and Health Professionals Union, Latanya Simonet, aims to rectify if successful against the Bahamas General Workers Union. Tuesday's elections took place at BAIC's Old Trail Road headquarters, where clerical assistant Lanisha Edwards, former GW shop steward, confirmed under the partnership multiple things went haywire without rectification.
It's Latanya Simonet. I prefer her because she is for the people as well. The president that was for BGWU is not for the people. One time ago, I must say she was, okay? But certain things came to effect, and she is not.
During our time at the election venue, there were no General Workers Union representatives present. We were informed, though, that the General Workers Union's industrial agreement with BAIC expired this year, and that left room for Simonet to step right in.
A union that's for the people, and it's for these people. You don't think that union president would be here? You don't think the union president will be rallying for the support of these people? And we're not seeing that. And so what we're seeing is Ms. Sands evidently really know and see that, hey, guess what, my time is up.
The BAIC workers and the Bahamas Public Sector and Health Professionals Union look ahead to a bright future of partnership and change. Reporting for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Danielle Dean.
Well, the unofficial results of today's union elections or determination poll at the Bahamas Industrial and Agricultural Corporation are in. Bahamas Public Sector and Health Professionals Union won over the General Workers Union 89-29 here in New Providence. And over in the Family Islands, those numbers 30-0. We await the official results that are expected within the next few days. Well, stay with us. There's more to come when the National Report returns.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Focall Smart Pass, the smart way to pay at the pump.
We're here at the Nassau Village Community Center project, where over the past 17 months, we've hired over 20 Bahamian subcontractors to bring this beautiful project to fruition.
I've been living in Nassau Village for more than 19 years, and to see a project like this bring great joy and pride to me.
This state-of-the-art multi-purpose community center will serve as a crime-fighting initiative in the community, also help with the education of our kids in this community, and a hurricane shelter.
Yeah, and it also shows what we as Bahamians can achieve when we work hand in hand with each other.
We have the technical know-how, and we can pretty much deliver on any project here in the Bahamas or in the world.
Bahamas Stripe and the Bahamian Company, they prove that they believe in Bahamians.
Based on the outcome of this project, I don't think they're disappointed in giving a small person an opportunity to do a job such as this.
The more opportunity they get, the more opportunity we will get.
If you look around and see the work done so far, it just shows what we as Bahamians can do.
good name? Oh, ghost pepper burger. Chicken. I always at Popeyes, so me just come and taste the chicken.
Wow.
Nice, crunchy. This is off the chisholm.
Wow, that is way better than I expected. Very spicy, extremely spicy actually. The bread is very soft. The chicken is juicy. Yeah, that's spicy food.
Introducing the Focal Smart Pass app that helps you to fuel up faster. Here's how it works. Download the app on the App Store or get it on Google Play and create your profile with payment details. Visit your nearest Shell station, open the app, scan the pump's QR code, select your payment amount, and begin fueling. Say goodbye to cash and cards because the Focal Smart Pass offers secure and convenient payment options right at your fingertips. Download Focal Smart Pass now and fuel up faster today.
This portion of the news is brought to you by 700 Wines and Spirits, bringing celebration across the nation.
Well, officials are going after the youth to help drive down this year's traffic fatality numbers, already at 15. Bailey Senior High, the venue for the official National Road Safety Jingle and Mascot launch. Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis taking the lead by encouraging the high schoolers to capitalize on their legacy.
Students of Bailey, this is your moment. You're not just the leaders of tomorrow, you are the influencers of today. When you ride with a friend who's speeding, speak up. When you see someone texting and driving, call it out. Use social media to share the jingle, wear the mascot's image proudly. Be the generation that says, enough. It is enough.
The Prime Minister also launched a road safety corporate influencer network. He's inviting more companies to join in sponsoring school zones, rewarding safe drivers, and using their platforms to amplify the message. In the meantime, he admonished motorists to set an example and slow down, put down the phone, and show the youth that maturity means responsibility. And his message to the Bailey campus?
To every student here, you are the innovators we need. Next month, we launch a National Road Safety Creative Competition for ages 11 to 16. Design posters, write songs, produce short films. Show us how you would make roads safer. The best ideas will shape our national campaign because your voice matters.
Well, we're now going to hear the voices of LaDonna and Marlena for a sneak peek of Access Now. Ladies?
Okay, so do you love art?
I love art.
Well, I want you to check out the National Art Gallery. They have an exhibition in about, I guess, for the remainder of 9 months. Milena, have you been there before?
I have.
Yes.
My mom is a ceramist, so I've been to quite a few exhibitions. You got to go. You know, culture is always evolving. You got to stay up to date with the new people, too.
All right.
So true, so true. Stay with us. Our feature story is up next.
What if I told you Wendy's has a new burger? With a flavor so secret, it's almost too delicious to handle. Well, now it's time to unlock that flavor. Try the new sweet and smoky barbecue cheeseburger. We can't tell you everything, but we can tell you that it's packed with flavor, including our secret barbecue sauce. Try the new sweet and smoky barbecue cheeseburger today. Available for a limited time. Limited time.
Diet-friendly special.
Is the Little Caesars
stuffed crust pizza. Get more pizza for less money. Only $12. It's a whole new level of pizza with cheese stuffed crust so spectacular that there's nothing left.
Pizza.
A delicious pepperoni pizza with the crust stuffed with lots of cheese and brushed with butter and garlic flavor and sprinkled with Parmesan cheese. Hot and ready Thursday to Saturday between 4 and 8 for only $12. Simply irresistible. And only at Little Caesars.
Pizza.
For 3 exciting days, the National High School Track and Field Championships will take place at the Thomas A. Robinson National Stadium, and ZNS TV will bring you all the action. On Thursday, March 20th, tune in from 6 to 6:30 p.m. for the opening ceremony, and then starting at 8 p.m., join ZNS as young athletes from high schools all over the Bahamas go for gold in the finals. The future of Bahamian track and field. The National High School Track and Field Championships live on ZNS TV, March 20th to 22nd. Don't miss it.
And that does it for the National Report, but stay close. The Bahamas Tonight continues with Access Now.